Hello everyone, welcome to all. In the previous session, what we had discussed is sensors and transducers. And then later, what are the specifications of sensors? How do we specify the sensors based on the parameters? Whether it may be range, whether it may be based on this hysteresis, whether it may be based on its span, whether it may be based on its uh, reliability. So these are the parameters we have discussed in the previous session. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the types of displacement sensor. These four sensors are comes under the category of displacement sensors. So first one is the potentiometer, and the next one is the strain gauge. Nothing but the resistance strain gauge. Okay, and the next one is the piezoelectric sensor, and then last one is the Hall effect sensor. All these four sensors are going to discuss in this session. So before going that, let me revise all the concepts what we discussed in earlier classes. Okay, what is the difference between sensors and transducer? If in case of sensors, there is no separate circuit is there. Okay, uh, by definition, sensor is nothing but the which is a device which measures the a physical quantity and sense the change in physical quantity and which produces signals, and this signals has been sent to the signal conditioner. Okay, if in case of transducer, uh, it may be it might be able to convert the one form of energy into the another form of energy. It may be the input of transducer is displacement. Okay, displacement variation, deviation of displacement. The output of the transducer will be the digital or electronically, whether it be analogically. Okay, it may be changes. Okay, so in case of transducer, there is a separate circuit in between them, so we can call it as a transducer is a collaboration of sensor along with a separate circuit. Okay, these are the examples for the sensors, thermistor and the potentiometer. Okay, uh, and the proximate sensor, magnetic sensor and accelerometer sensor, light sensor are comes under the category of examples of transducers. Okay, and then what is the working principle of a sensor? So let me revise what we discussed earlier is, so the RS will be the sensor resistance and RT will be the transducer resistance. While these two resistance are connected in a parallel, okay, in a parallel series, that we are going to find out the V output is the voltage output with reference to the V in. V in is nothing but the voltage input. So sensor is detect the changing environment by changing the inherent state of the material or sensing system such as resistance or magnetism or conductivity, capacity. By these measurements of physical quantity, either resistance, either magnetism, either capacitance, or the conductivity, by sensing these physical quantities, so sense the detecting the changing environment by changing the inherent state of the material. Okay, so by sensing this physical quantity is changing is inherent state of the material. Okay, so in case of transducer, in order to sense the change in property material, we connect it to suitable circuitry. So what we said earlier is the transducer which are accomplished with a separate circuit inbuilt within the system only. Okay, so while we derive the V output equals to, so why here the RT by RT plus RS is why, because of all these two resistance are connected in a parallel connection. That's why reason. If you connected in a series connection, the V out will be the RS plus RT. And if in this situation comes to in this situation, the these two resistance are connected in a parallel connection. So RT will be the, so total resistance will be the RT by RT plus RS and multiplied by the V in. Okay, so by by solving this equation, the RT will be equals to RS into V out by V in minus V out. Then final solution of final formula for the sensor will be the RT equals to R naught plus e to the power of beta and 1 by Tt minus 1 by T naught. Here the Tt is the transducer temperature. Here the T naught is the base temperature and the R naught is the base resistance. Base resistance is the minimum resistance that possesses a sensor, that sensor possesses. Okay, it whatever sensor we have taken, we have took just it has a minimum resistance, whether it is 1 ohms or 2 ohms, it has a minimum resistance. So that minimum resistance we can call it as a base resistance, and the base temperature is nothing but the minimum temperature that can measure by the sensor. We can call it as a base sensor, and TD is transducer sensor, and the beta is nothing but the sensor constants. So every manufacturing units they provide a sensor constants corresponding to sensor. Okay, and then next, how do you specify the sensors? Based on its range, based on its span, based on its error. What does mean by error? Range is nothing but if you consider a sensor which have a temperature range of 25 degrees centigrade to 225 degrees centigrade. So what is the difference between these two? This is the range. So let us take a sensor. It has a capable of measuring the temperature of 25 to 225. This is the range. Okay, you can call it as a range of a sensor. Whether is the span of the sensor is nothing but the difference between the maximum value to the minimum value. We can call it as span of the sensor. So the difference between the 225 and the 25 will be the 200 degrees centigrade. If you consider the error is the difference between the result of measurement and the true value of the quantity being measured. Is nothing but a sensor might give you a displacement reading of 29.8 mm. Okay, when the actual displacement will be the 300 mm. So what is the actual reading is 29.8 mm. Sorry, it's a displacement reading will be the 29.8 mm. The actual displacement will be the 30 mm. So what is the error between the actual displacement and the theoretical displacement? It will be the minus 0.2 mm. Okay, this is the error difference between actual and practical. Accuracy. So accuracy is nothing but the sensor has an accuracy of 0.2%. Then we can expect the output of the sensor to be the deviation of plus or minus 0.4 degrees centigrade. As we know, consider that if you how much it has a accuracy defines the closeness of the agreement between the actual measurement result and the true value of the measurement. So it's nothing but if a sensor thermistor has an accuracy of 0.2%, so multiplied by the 200. So what will be the answer is 0.4 degrees centigrade. Okay, where the 200 has taken is in previous section we just considered it as a transducer which has a range of 200 degrees centigrade. Okay, 200 degrees. And the sensitivity of a sensor is defined as the ratio of the change in output value of a sensor to the per unit change in input value that causes the output change. Okay, so per unit change in input value there might be a chance of getting broader wide change in output value. So you can call it as a sensitivity, and this is the non-linearity. Non-linearity is nothing but the maximum error to the span and multiplied by the 100. So nothing but this is the difference between the ideal curve and the measured curve. While doing so, non-linearity, this is a parameter only considered while in the calibration purpose only. So every industry has a separate calibration department which is comes under the instrumentation department. So in this calibration department, so they are going to calibrate the every mechatronics devices. So whether it is in a acceptance range or not, whether it gives a specified values or not. Okay, this department only this department only gives the how the exact value of the devices. Okay, it judges the how the exact value of the sensors. Okay, and at the same time the ideal curve and the is the difference between the actual curve is the ideal curve. Then while we doing calibration, the measured curve is calibration curve. Okay, So this is the difference between the measured curve and the ideal curve. We can call it as a maximum error. And the next, hysteresis. While doing the heating operation, what is the process taken from 0 to higher point, 100 degrees centigrade? This is the path taken by the sensor, okay, while doing the heating operation. Same at the same time, while reversing the heat loss process and just cooling process, the curve will be the like this direction, okay, like this direction. So as per the theory, what are the path taken by while going on with the heating, it should be equal, it should be reversed with the same path. It should be followed by same path while doing the cooling process. But in the practical situation, it can't possible for. So what are the, so in between the difference between these two curves, we can call it as a hysteresis. So as we know, the resolution and the stability and the response time. In case of resolution, a smallest detectable increment change in input parameter that can be detected in a output signal. So if nothing but the, if you change in input, what is the corresponding change in output? Is nothing but the resolution is nothing but the, there is the ratio between the change in input that with corresponding to the change in output. Okay. For example, LVD, it is a linear variable differential transformer. This is the type of sensor which measures the displacement up to 20 mm and it provides an output as a number between the 1 to 100. Then the resolution of sensor device is 0.2 mm. How does it come? 20 by 100 simply. And the next, stability. Stability is the ability of a sensor device to give some same output when used to measure a constant input over a period of time. So I would like to measure a boiler pressure. So I just place a dial gauge upon the boiler. So I just left the boiler. I just left the dial gauge, and then after completion, after one day, after 1 year, I just went out to dial gauge and the how I observed the readings whether it's the same as before the 1 year or before the 1 year or not. So during the period of time, the stability of the sensor may be changes. So how much it has a stability, how it within how much range, with how much acceptance level the sensor has a stability. Okay, the term drift is used to indicate the change in output that occurs over a period of time. It is expressed as a percentage of full range of output. Okay, response time. Response time describes the speed of the change in the output on a stepwise change of the measurement. Okay, uh, is, measurement is nothing but is a physical quantity that be to be measured by the sensor. Okay, and the response time describes the how much time it takes to respond. If I give you 1 degree centigrade, that's if I give you 1 degree change in input to the sensor, so how much time it responds to gives output as 1 degree centigrade. Okay, how much time it takes to respond. So how much time it takes to avoid delay. Okay, you can call it response time. And the next is the potentiometers. Potentiometer. So here the potentiometer is under the category of, comes under the category of displacement sensor. So these are the kind of sensors. A potentiometer works on the principle of conversion of mechanical displacement into electrical signal. This is a conversion of mechanical displacement into electrical signal. So here is the in this diagram we may observe that one. So this is the wiper, and this is the what we appeared in the pink color is the resistive element. Okay, what we observe in the pink color is called as resistive element. Resistance is just a resistance. So, and what we observed in the uh, light biscuit color, we can call it as a housing. Housing is nothing but non-metal. So, what we call is a insulator, which does not allow its conductance. We can call it as a housing. Sorry, insulators. And these three are electrical terminals. Okay. So, in this situation, the wiper is moving from left hands to right hand side or right hands to left hand side. Okay, as per the adjustments of resisting elements. Okay, while in this situation, the voltage is applied over these two terminals. Okay, and these two terminals is, so this is the terminal which is connected to the wiper, and the V out is output voltage is obtained by this pole. Okay, so while V in is supplied to the system as between these two poles. Okay, so here the V out equals to R2 by R2 plus R1. This is nothing but the R2 is the wiper resistance. Okay, R1 is the capacitive resistance, what you call resistive element. Okay, in this situation, what is meant by theta? Theta is nothing but the displacement. So resistance is directly proportional to length. Okay, as we know that, as we discussed, as we studied in the basic electronics, the any resistance can be directly proportional to the length. Okay, and this length is directly proportional to the r into theta. R theta is nothing but the radius, r is the radius, and theta is will be the deflection. Okay, how much it deflects. Okay, so the entire potentiometer is obtained by these two formulas. The sensitivity and the value of the V out can be obtained by these two formulas, R2 by R2 plus R1 into V in, or theta 2 by theta 1 plus theta 2 into V in. Okay, and the next strain gauge, we can call it as a resistive strain gauge. So in this situation, here the some strain gauge are widely used in experimental stress analysis and diagnosis on machines and failure analysis. These kind of stresses are widely used for the experimental stress analysis, and in order to calculate the stress, in order to calculate the diagnosis of on machines. Diagnosis on the machine is nothing but the kind of vibrations. How do we calculate the vibrations on the machines? On the failure analysis, in case of fatigue machines, we need to calculate the SN curve for the fatigue analysis. Okay, so in the situation also we use it to use strain gauges. Okay, it comprises of pattern of resistive foil arrangement. Resistive foil is nothing but the what we seen in yellow color is called as resistive foil. Okay, and these foils are made of, sorry, resistive foil is nothing but what we in this picture, what we observe in the black color is called as a resistive foil, and these foils are made of constant alloy. So it's nothing but the copper nickel has a percentage of 55 to 45% of alloy. In this situation, in this ratio, 55% of copper and 45% of nickel has been added as a alloy, and are bonded to backing material plastic. Baking material plastic is nothing but the some insulators are the arranged provided to close the entire resistive foil. This kind of insulators are made of polyamide or epoxy or glass fiber reinforced epoxy, whatever it may be. This kind of materials, with this kind of materials, we are going to provide a insulation. Okay, in this situation, the formula will be the, so coming to this picture, how does it works? The strain gauge, how does the strain gauge works? So in this situation, while the while the displacement takes place, this strain gauges, this connection is will getting deviated. Okay, so it converts the displacement into electrical or digital form, which converts the one form into another form. So input form is the mechanical deviation and the output form is the electrical signals. Okay, electrical output. So in here, the wherever the displacement occurred in the deviation of displacement occurred, and that deviation displace are connected to the connection leads, and which is followed by the uh, which directly proportional, which directly what you call inductance. The property, the material has a property of inductance. Through the inductor, some kind of what you call flux will be generated within the circuit. So this circuit will be directly proportional to the directly impact on the voltage. Okay, why? Because the back EMF will be produced in the system. So here the Wheatstone bridge. So this is the Wheatstone bridge. In this strain gauge, in this resistive strain gauge circuit, we use this Wheatstone bridge as a to balance the voltage, to balance the resistance of the circuits. So as we know, from the Wheatstone bridge, what we discuss is what we can obtain is R1 by R3 is equals to the R2 by RG. RG is nothing but the gauge resistance. What do you call strain gauge? Okay. So this is the strain gauge which is connected here. So based on the displacement deviation, it may be change in voltage deviation. Voltage, okay, change in voltage. So due to change in voltage, there will be due to Wheatstone bridge that this change in voltage will be balanced by the Wheatstone bridge. Okay. So by knowing every resistance, we can calculate the unknown RG value. Okay, or V mean. At the same time, V mean is nothing but the mean voltage. Mean voltage always will be zero if R1 by R3 is equals to R2 by RG. Whenever at a particular conditional, at what conditional, the Wheatstone bridge should be balanced. Where at what at which situation the Wheatstone bridge is getting balanced, then the V mean is equals to zero. And the next, piezoelectric sensor. In this situation, piezoelectric sensor used for the measurement of pressure, acceleration, and dynamic force such as oscillation, impact, or high-speed compression of tension. So this kind of sensor used for the measurement of pressure, acceleration, and dynamic force such as oscillation. So these are the physical parameters we need to measure this kind of parameters. So that's why this kind of piezoelectric sensor will be used for the measurement. Okay, such as oscillation, impact, high speed. This sensor also comes under the category of displacement sensor. And the next, it contains piezoelectric ions, crystal materials such as quartz. Okay, so piezoelectric ion is nothing but here we can observe it as in this diagram as a green color. So you can measure it as you can represent it as a quartz. Okay, quartz material, as you know that. So quartz material is only has a wide range of application in the smartwatches as well as the electronic gadgets also. Wherever you go, the quartz material uh, will be coming into picture. Okay, on application of force or pressure, these materials will get structured. Structure is nothing but it may be changes dimensions. Okay, changing its volume. Whenever the application of force, pressure, these materials will get structured or compressed. Okay, so during this process, the charge over material, changes and redistributes. Okay, so here some kind of quartz material will be there. So the some voltage will be there. So whenever the force applied on this quartz material, it may be some kind of voltage generation within the body. Okay, so the charge over the material changes and this redistributes. The charge over the material will be whenever the force applied on the quasi material, the charge will be over material changes and redistributes. Okay, on face of the material becomes positively charged. One face of the material becomes positively charged and then negatively charged. Okay, if this situation, one face will be the positive and another face will be the negative. The net charge q on the surface is proportional to the amount of x by which the charges have been displaced. Okay. By which the charge has been displaced. The displacement is proportional to the force, and then small q equals to is the equation for the piezoelectric sensor. Small q equals to kx equals to sf. S is the charge sensitivity factor. Okay, so every sensor has some constant or some factor. So in this situation, S is the charge sensitivity factor, which is given by the manufacturing companies. Okay, these sensors requires no power source for functioning. Okay, the main advantage of this sensor is there is no power source for the functioning. Okay, this piezoelectric sensor cannot be used to sense the static forces. Okay, because after some time the charges realigns themselves and the faces lost the charge. So it's nothing but the it's a piezoelectric sensor which represents the displacement sensor. Okay, is the under the category displacement. Whenever the pressure acting on the quasi material, there will be some charge induced. Okay, across the two surfaces. One will be the positive and another will be the negative. So in between these two surfaces, there is some kind of charge will be produced. So what are the amount of force acted upon the quasi material is directly proportional to the what are the charge induced with across the two surfaces. Okay, is nothing but the Hall effect sensor. When a conductor or semiconductor with the current flowing in one direction was introduced up perpendicular to a magnetic field of charge flows at a right angles to the current path. Okay, so here the DC supply has been supplied to over the some plate is there, and one more in order to um, exactly what it at which direction we supplying the DC supply. In that supply voltage we need to provide AC voltage which is perpendicular to the DC voltage here. Okay, some kind of two voltage are supplied to a particular plate in which these two voltages should be a perpendicular direction. Okay, when a conductor semiconductor which current flowing in one direction are introduced perpendicular to a magnetic field. Okay, perpendicular to a magnetic field, a charge flow at a right angles to the current path. Okay, thus one side of the disk will become negatively charged and other side will be the positive charge. Okay, this charge of separation generates potential difference, which is the measured distance between the magnetic field from the disk carrying the current. Okay, use it to measure water flow, water level and flow rate of liquid. So this is the formula for the V equals to KHBL by T. So VH is the Hall voltage, RH is the Hall effect coefficient, and I is the current flow through the sensor, and T is the thickness of the sensor, and V is the magnetic flux density. So here the Hall effect sensor is nothing but the, so here the current carrying some material will be there. So there are two kinds of voltage has been given to the across the plate in a perpendicular direction. One voltage will be the DC supply voltage and another type of voltage will be the Hall voltage. Okay, so these two voltage are perpendicular in direction. It's which is having a current carrying conductor. Okay, in which a magnetic pole a magnetic pole is there. This magnetic pole is whenever we reaches the plate, some kind of energy will be induced within the body, within the plate surface. Okay, so how much the sensor, how much the magnetic pole as closest to the plate is directly proportional to the how much distance, sorry, how much distance the magnetic pole closest to the plate is directly proportional to the charge induced within the plate. Okay, this is the kind of Hall effect sensor. Okay, what is the displacement will be the mechanical deviation or the mechanical object which is having a displacement which is connected to the, which is fixed to the magnetic pole. Okay, so how much deviation of the magnetic pole is directly proportional to the charge. So here the displacement will be the conversion into the electrical form. Okay, and this electrical form is converted into the digital form. In the previous session, in the next, in coming session, we are going to discuss about optical encoders. How does we, some kind of encoders is there, so how do we how do we measure the physical quantity by using the optical encoders or resolvers and inducticity. So these are the, we will discuss about, we will discuss in next class.